Hello everyone, and welcome to today's presentation. I'm excited to have you here. Today, we'll be exploring understanding Azure AD B2B and B2C identity solutions. Our focus will be on the key differences, use cases, and best practices for managing external user identities. Over the next few slides, we'll dive into what makes these solutions unique and how you can implement them effectively. So let's get started. Today, we're diving into the introduction of Azure AD B2B and B2C, two powerful identity solutions designed to meet different business needs. When we talk about Azure AD B2B, we're focusing on enabling collaboration with external users. Think partners, vendors, or contractors, allowing them to sign in securely and manage their own accounts. This setup plays a crucial role in user management workflows and helps support your broader business goals by streamlining collaboration. On the other hand, Azure AD B2C is tailored specifically for customer-facing applications. It's all about giving your external customers a seamless sign-in experience while maintaining control over their identities. Both solutions shape your organization's overall identity strategy and security posture, but they are designed to serve different purposes: B2B for collaboration and internal access, and B2C for customer engagement. So, as we explore these options, keep in mind how each one can help you create a flexible, secure, and user-friendly environment for your external users. A widespread misconception is that Azure AD B2B and B2C are interchangeable since both allow external users to sign in. But that's an oversimplification that ignores the fundamental differences in their design, use cases, and management. If you treat them as plug-and-play alternatives, it can lead to security gaps, workflow headaches, and unexpected licensing costs. The truth is, these platforms serve very different external user scenarios. Understanding these differences is key to choosing the right solution for your organization's needs and ensuring a smooth, secure user experience. Now, let's take a look at the different roles of external users and how Azure AD B2B and B2C address their needs. On this slide, we see that some external users are targeted specifically for broad public access, such as retail customers or anyone interacting with your applications who don't require internal access. These users are typically outside your organization and don't need to collaborate internally. Then we have external users like partners, vendors, or contractors, individuals who do need to work closely with your organization. They require secure access to internal resources and collaboration tools. Azure AD B2C is primarily designed for consumer-facing applications, enabling you to manage large-scale customer identities securely and efficiently. Think of it as a solution that helps you handle broad public access. Meanwhile, Azure AD B2B is tailored for collaborating with external partners. It allows them to access your internal resources securely while maintaining control and governance. So, in essence, B2C is about broad consumer access, and B2B focuses on enabling secure collaboration with trusted external partners. Both are crucial for supporting your overall identity strategy, depending on the type of external user you're engaging with. Let's take a closer look at Microsoft's official distinction between Azure AD B2B and B2C. Essentially, these are two powerful identity solutions designed for different scenarios. Azure AD B2C is an identity platform tailored for customer-facing applications. It supports large-scale customization, so you can create a branded experience that feels seamless to your users. It also enables social identity federation, meaning users can sign in using their existing social media accounts like Facebook or Google. Plus, it offers flexible sign-up journeys, allowing you to customize how users register and sign in. On the other hand, Azure AD B2B is designed for secure collaboration with external partners. It makes it easy to invite external users into your organization's resources while maintaining control over security and access. Importantly, both solutions integrate tightly with your organization's existing security controls and compliance stack, ensuring you can meet your security requirements without sacrificing user experience. By understanding these key differences, you can choose the right solution depending on whether you're focusing on customer engagement or partner collaboration, aligning with the broader theme of delivering secure, scalable identities. Now, let's take a closer look at the technical differences between federation and management in Azure AD B2B and B2C. First, when it comes to external identity providers like Google or Facebook, implementing federation requires creating custom policies for each one. This means more setup and maintenance work on your side. Additionally, these solutions often lack rich object-level auditing, which can be a challenge if you need detailed tracking of user activities or changes. They also tend to operate on a separate management plane, meaning management tasks are isolated from your main Azure AD environment, adding complexity. On the positive side, both B2B and B2C support seamless federation with other Azure tenants, enabling smoother collaboration and user management across different organizations. Lifecycle management is supported, allowing you to handle user onboarding, updates, and offboarding efficiently. You also get features like conditional access, which helps enforce security policies, and group membership management to organize users effectively. Lastly, organizational auditing aligns with your internal policies, helping ensure compliance and security standards are maintained. In summary, while both B2B and B2C have their strengths, understanding these technical differences helps us choose the right approach based on our specific needs and the level of control and customization required. Let's take a closer look at user experience and support impacts when working with Azure AD B2B and B2C identity solutions. One key point is that misalignment between these approaches often leads to manual processes. When organizations don't have a clear strategy, support teams end up dealing with more help desk tickets and need to implement costly workarounds over time. This increases support overhead and can strain resources. On the support side, B2C offers branded, consumer-friendly sign-up flows, which make onboarding seamless for end users. However, B2B tends to prioritize integration and security, sometimes at the expense of customization. B2B users appear as guests within your directory, which means their access is controlled through existing groups and policies, something familiar to many organizations. In contrast, B2C users are part of a parallel system, often requiring custom workflows to manage their lifecycle and access. Finally, this all adds up to increased management complexity. Coordinating these different user types and workflows can be challenging, especially if they're not aligned with your overall identity strategy. So, understanding these impacts is crucial for delivering a smooth user experience and maintaining efficient support operations. Now, let's take a closer look at the real-world consequences of making the wrong choice when it comes to Azure AD B2B and B2C identity solutions. These issues often don't show up immediately. They can surface months or even years after deployment. That's why making the right decision early on is so critical for long-term success. If you choose the wrong platform, you might find yourself facing costly rework down the line. This includes migrating to a new system, retraining staff, and rebuilding user journeys, things that can be both time-consuming and expensive. Another common surprise is with licensing costs. As your user base grows, or if you start using premium features, costs can scale unexpectedly. Without proper planning, these surprises can significantly impact your budget. And then there are security risks. Picking the wrong platform might leave gaps, like missing audit logs or inconsistent access controls, that could jeopardize your organization's security. All these points highlight why making an informed, strategic choice upfront is essential. It's about avoiding these long-term pitfalls and ensuring a secure, cost-effective, and scalable identity solution. So, why does Microsoft offer two different solutions for identity management? Well, it all comes down to understanding the distinct needs of different audiences. On one side, we have Azure AD B2B, which is built to handle massive public audiences. That means it's designed to support organizations that need to collaborate externally at a large scale. It includes features like customizable branding, so organizations can tailor the experience to their look and feel, and it also supports social login options, making it easier for users to sign in using their existing social accounts. On the other hand, we have Azure AD B2C, which is optimized for internal business collaboration. It enforces strict access controls to ensure security and privacy, which is crucial when dealing with sensitive internal data. Plus, it integrates seamlessly with Microsoft 365 workloads, providing a smooth experience for users within the organization. Both solutions serve different purposes, but are designed to address the specific requirements of their target audiences, whether you're managing a large public user base or securing internal business processes. This differentiation helps organizations choose the right platform based on their needs, ensuring they get the most effective and secure identity management. Now, let's look at how Azure AD B2B and B2C solutions compare when it comes to collaboration and customer access. On this slide, we see that supporting millions of retail users with branded sign-up and sign-in experiences is a key strength of customer access. Or B2C, this means that B2C is designed to handle large volumes of external customers, providing them a seamless and branded experience when they sign up or log in. In contrast, collaboration, or B2B, focuses more on enabling partners and vendors to access internal apps like Teams and SharePoint. It's about facilitating secure collaboration with external business partners rather than the broader customer base. Another important point is flexibility. B2C emphasizes flexible identity journeys and social identity federation, which means users can sign in using social accounts like Facebook or Google, making onboarding simple. However, it doesn't deeply integrate with internal systems. On the other hand, B2B is geared toward supporting conditional access, auditing, and lifecycle management, all aligned with your corporate policies. This ensures secure, controlled access for external partners who need to work within your internal ecosystem. So, in summary, B2C is optimized for broad customer engagement with branded experiences, while B2B is tailored for secure collaboration with external vendors and partners. Both serve different needs, but are crucial in supporting your overall digital strategy. Now, let's take a closer look at the architectural split behind the scenes. This divide is the key reason why B2C users can't be managed or audited in the same way as B2B guests within Microsoft 365. On one side, we have B2C users who live in a completely separate consumer identity store. This store has its own policy engine, which is specifically designed for public-facing applications, meaning it's optimized for consumer interactions rather than the enterprise environment. In contrast, B2B users are actually guests within your native Azure AD directory. Because they're part of your Azure AD, they inherit group memberships, policies, and reporting capabilities just like your regular users. Understanding this split helps clarify why managing B2C and B2B users requires different approaches. It's all about where their identities are stored and how their access is governed. Recognizing these differences is essential to effectively implementing and maintaining your identity solutions across your organization. Let's take a closer look at a real-world example involving a consulting firm and some of the challenges they faced with onboarding partners. They attempted to simplify the process by using Azure AD B2C for onboarding, which might seem like a good idea at first. However, they ran into several issues. For instance, they tried to fix these challenges with custom code and out-of-band workflows. But this quickly introduced additional risks and made the system more complex than it needed to be. It's a common pitfall, trying to patch problems with quick fixes instead of adopting a more integrated solution. This misuse of B2C for collaboration also illustrates some significant pitfalls. B2C is designed primarily for customer-facing scenarios, not for managing external business partners or collaborators. When misused, it can lead to increased support calls, as users encounter issues they aren't designed to handle. Support teams also face operational strain because manual offboarding becomes necessary. There's no straightforward way to revoke access automatically. This inefficiency can create security risks and administrative overhead. Another key challenge is the inability to assign these external partners to Teams or SharePoint, which are critical collaboration tools. Without proper policy enforcement and auditing, managing access and ensuring compliance becomes difficult, creating vulnerabilities. So, in summary, this case highlights how trying to use B2C for partner onboarding can backfire, leading to unsupported workflows, operational burdens, and security risks. It underscores the importance of choosing the right identity solutions tailored to collaboration needs, rather than forcing a customer-focused platform into a partner collaboration role. Let's talk about customization and scaling considerations when choosing between Azure AD B2B and B2C first. Azure AD B2B prioritizes seamless integration with the Microsoft 365 security and management stacks, making it a great choice if you're already invested in that ecosystem. It also offers robust auditing and compliance features, which are crucial for maintaining security and meeting regulatory requirements. However, one limitation is its UI customization options. They're somewhat limited, so if branding and user interface tailoring are high priorities, that could be a consideration. On the other hand, Azure AD B2C excels when it comes to scaling and branding. It allows for pixel-perfect registration screens, giving you full control over the look and feel of your user experience. Additionally, B2C supports progressive profiling and social login options, allowing millions of users to sign in easily through their preferred social accounts. So, if you're aiming to support a large, diverse user base with customized branding, B2C might be the better fit. In summary, B2B is strong on security integration and compliance, while B2C shines in branding, user experience, and handling large-scale social logins. Choosing between them depends on your specific needs for integration, customization, and scale. Let's talk about Microsoft's best practice guidelines related to understanding Azure AD B2B and B2C identity solutions. First, it's important to recognize that establishing clear boundaries between these platforms helps simplify compliance and governance. When we keep their roles distinct, it becomes much easier to manage security and meet regulatory requirements. Next, we want to avoid stretching one platform beyond its intended purpose. Doing so can lead to an increase in support tickets, security risks, and maintenance overhead. Essentially, sticking to each platform's strengths keeps things running smoothly and reduces potential issues. Now, when it comes to B2C, think of it as the ideal choice for public-facing customer applications. B2C offers the flexibility needed for user sign-up, branding, and customization, making it perfect for customer engagement. On the other hand, B2B is designed specifically for collaboration scenarios. It's best used when working with partners, vendors, or contractors who need access to internal resources. By clearly defining these use cases, we ensure that each platform is used appropriately, which ultimately supports a more secure and manageable environment. Connecting these points to our overall theme, understanding these distinctions helps us build a more secure, compliant, and efficient identity management strategy. Let's talk about hybrid scenarios and the management risks involved. When it comes to Azure AD B2B and B2C identity solutions, the best practice is to define upfront why both are needed. It's also crucial to keep them clearly separated to avoid operational chaos down the line. If these are not properly distinguished, shadow IT can emerge, leading to compliance gaps and security vulnerabilities. Risks become especially significant when there's no clear plan for managing identities separately. Fragmented user management across disconnected systems can create confusion and increase the potential for errors. Many organizations actually require both B2B and B2C capabilities because they serve different purposes. For example, B2B for partner collaboration and B2C for customer engagement. Understanding these dual identity requirements and ensuring proper separation from the start helps maintain control, security, and operational efficiency. It's all about planning ahead and implementing a clear, structured approach to manage these identities effectively. Now, let's take a closer look at the licensing models and how they are explained. Charges are primarily based on the volume of authentication requests and the consumption of premium features. This means that as more users sign in and more multi-factor prompts are required, the costs will increase accordingly. It's also important to note that the break-even point between the Azure AD B2B and B2C licensing models depends heavily on actual usage patterns. Often, the true cost-effectiveness becomes clear only after several months of operation, once you have enough data to analyze. These costs are calculated based on monthly active users. For B2B, there's a helpful inclusion. Each licensed internal user gets a tier of 5 free guest users. However, costs can go up if your external workforce expands or if you decide to enable additional premium features. When comparing the B2C and B2B licensing models, the key difference is how they scale with user activity and external access needs. Understanding these nuances helps in choosing the right model for your organization's specific requirements, ensuring you manage costs effectively while providing a seamless identity experience. Let's take a closer look at the security controls comparison between Azure AD B2B and B2C first. When it comes to public portals, Azure AD B2C provides strong security measures. It's designed to protect these access points effectively. However, one limitation is that it doesn't offer centralized reporting out of the box. To achieve compliance, organizations often need to set up custom audit hooks or integrate external SIEM solutions. Now, shifting to the use of B2C for business partners, this approach can introduce risks. Without proper controls, there's a chance of unmanaged access, which can create gaps in your overall security posture. On the other hand, both solutions integrate seamlessly with Microsoft 365 security features. This includes capabilities like conditional access, which helps enforce policies based on user context, identity governance, ensuring proper access management, granular auditing for detailed activity tracking, and unified compliance reporting, which simplifies monitoring and regulatory adherence. Understanding these differences is crucial as we consider how to best secure our digital environment and ensure both user convenience and robust security. Now, let's look at some of the risks involved when using B2C for business partners. As we dive into understanding Azure AD B2B and B2C identity solutions, it's important to recognize that this kind of fragmentation can actually increase security risks. It also adds to the administrative burden, which can make compliance efforts more challenging. One of the key issues is the difficulty in revoking access and tracking user activity. When user management is spread across multiple systems, it becomes much harder to control who has access and to monitor what they're doing. This leads us to the next point: inconsistent password policies and lifecycle management. Without a unified approach, each system might have different rules, which can create vulnerabilities and confusion. Finally, using B2C for partners essentially creates parallel user management outside your primary directory and policies. This means you're managing users in separate silos, which can complicate everything from security to user experience. All of these points tie back to the overall theme, showing how important it is to have a streamlined, integrated approach to identity management when working with business partners. Now, let's explore how we can effectively translate technical choices to our stakeholders. On this slide, we'll focus on understanding Azure AD B2B and B2C identity solutions. The key is to help stakeholders see why selecting the right platform matters, but in a way that makes sense to everyone. We want to make technical decisions relatable and clear. One effective approach is to bridge the gap for non-technical leaders. We should discuss how these technical choices influence critical areas like onboarding processes, compliance standards, security measures, and even long-term costs. By framing it this way, stakeholders can see the real-world impact without getting lost in technical jargon. It's also important to highlight the effect on key user stories and workflows. Instead of diving into complex technical specifications, focus on how these solutions affect the user experience, such as how new users sign up or how secure access is managed. Using analogies can really help simplify concepts. For example, you might say B2B is like a guarded office building with guest badges, where access is tightly controlled. B2C, on the other hand, is more like a public lobby with a check-in kiosk, open, accessible, but still managed securely. These kinds of comparisons make the differences clear and relatable. Lastly, avoid overwhelming your audience with jargon. Instead, use simple, familiar analogies to convey complex ideas. This approach ensures everyone, regardless of technical background, understands the importance of the right identity solution and how it impacts the overall success of our project. Let's look at a real-world example highlighting some of the challenges with vendor portals. Offboarding, for instance, was entirely manual, which made it prone to errors and required costly retrofits later on. This also meant more support overhead and potential security gaps. Another issue was with multi-factor authentication policies. They didn't always align with the company's standards, leading to inconsistency and potential vulnerabilities. Vendors also faced difficulties because they couldn't be added easily to collaboration tools like Teams or SharePoint, which hampered smooth integration and delayed workflows. Interestingly, a project lead decided to go with B2C for partner onboarding, mainly because of its sleek UI and the faster rollout it offered. While that seemed appealing initially, it also highlights how important it is to choose the right identity solution that aligns with overall security and operational needs. All these points underscore how critical it is to have a well-structured identity management system, especially when working with external partners. Now, let's look at this analogy to better understand why different external user scenarios require different approaches. Imagine a public lobby with friendly signage and an open check-in area for visitors who don't need access to our core business spaces. This illustrates why one key doesn't fit all doors for external users. Just like visitors in a lobby, external users need specific, limited access based on their purpose. Next, picture the front desk with guest badges and security guards controlling access to internal spaces. This helps us visualize why external users, such as partners or customers, need tailored access controls. They can't just have one universal key. Each group needs the right level of entry. This is where Azure AD B2B and B2C come into play. The B2B platform is like managing those guest badges, controlling access for business partners with specific permissions. The B2C platform, on the other hand, is more like welcoming individual customers, providing a seamless, branded experience for end users. Remember, understanding these analogies helps us see why one solution doesn't fit all external user scenarios. Each has its role, just like different visitors and guests in a building, ensuring security and a good user experience. Let's take a moment to understand how Azure AD B2B and B2C identity solutions differ and how they relate to your requirements. Think of B2B as a secure front desk with guest badges. It's designed for collaborating with external partners, vendors, or contractors. It allows you to manage access closely, much like giving trusted guests specific badges for certain areas. On the other hand, B2C is like a welcoming public lobby with smooth check-in kiosks. It's focused on providing a seamless experience for your customers or end users who access your consumer-facing applications. When it comes to onboarding and offboarding workflows, it's important to consider how users will be provisioned, managed, and removed over time. B2B supports lifecycle management that aligns with your internal policies, so you can control access tightly as employees or partners come and go. B2C, however, is geared towards creating scalable, customizable journeys for your customers. Think self-service sign-up and profile management without needing internal system access. Another key aspect is defining the level of access required. Collaboration users, like partners or vendors, typically need access to Microsoft 365 apps, shared documents, or internal tools. But customers usually only need a self-service portal to sign up, manage their profiles, and access specific services, without gaining access to your internal systems. Lastly, it's crucial to identify who your external users are. Are they partners, vendors, contractors working closely with your internal teams? Or are they customers accessing a public-facing app? Clarifying this helps you choose the right identity solution and set appropriate access controls, ensuring your overall security and user experience are aligned with your organizational goals. Let's wrap up with some key takeaways. First, understanding Azure AD B2B and B2C identity solutions is crucial for building a solid foundation for your identity strategy. Early alignment on user roles, access needs, and compliance requirements can really help future-proof your approach. It also makes audits and governance much smoother down the line. Next, it's important to recognize the risks of misusing these platforms. Using one platform for the other's purpose can lead to technical debt, higher licensing costs, and complicated workarounds that tend to grow over time. When it comes to Azure AD B2C, remember that it's built for large-scale customer-facing applications. It offers extensive customization options and social identity support, but it doesn't integrate as deeply into internal compliance controls. On the other hand, Azure AD B2B is designed specifically for secure collaboration with external partners. It integrates seamlessly with your Microsoft 365 security and management stack, making it ideal for external collaboration scenarios. Finally, choosing the right external identity solution is critical. Making the wrong choice can lead to costly security gaps, compliance issues, and operational headaches. So, understanding your specific needs and selecting the appropriate platform is key to maintaining a secure, compliant, and efficient environment.